ease us back into it.
All right, we're gonna start. Need some time.
Time.
I'm Rick, and this is Towers of Dreams, a D&D 5e Eberron campaign run by myself using Fantasy Grounds. I'm gonna go through everybody and introduce them. Mr. Bitters, who are you? What are you doing? And who do you play?
I'm Mr. Bitters. I forget that I'm muted, and I play Toussaint Valentin Duchamp, the swashbuckling charlatan.
Demi, who are you? What are you doing here? Who you playing?
Hi, I'm Demi. I am playing Tranquility, a monk warforged who is here to bring enlightenment and understanding.
Yeah, sure. Jolts, who are you? What are you doing here? Who do you play?
I was muted, okay.
Oh Jesus. Spooked me.
Sorry.
Jolts has all the fans.
Yeah. I can hear them right now.
Yeah, I'm Creep. I am a Warforged necromancer, fascinated with the idea of mortality.
Matthew, who are you? What are you doing here? Who do you play?
I wish I knew who I was. I am playing Aldrin Salor, a baker, a mystical baker. Don't tell anyone. Who really enjoys just doing things and feeling terrible all the time.
And Trister, how about you?
Yeah, I also don't know who I am and what I do, but like when I come here, I'm given purpose because I play Annika Fritz, the goblin artificer, maker of things, mostly disagreements, who just really has no idea what she's doing here anymore.
Same.
Yes, and we
Artificer. I don't know why.
Artificer, shut up! I just speak too
Yeah.
fast for you.
we also have Orion playing Ebonir, but he's not here today. He's still on his honeymoon. If someone wants to take control of him.
Take control of him on his honeymoon. Gotcha.
So before we start, one last thing. We are doing a new donation perks thing where you can spend $3 to give any member of the party inspiration. You can spend $5 to add a complication point or remove a complication point. There are links to rules underneath the video, underneath the stream. And $25 if you want to do a plot point and have a big effect on the game. You'll have to whisper me that if you go for that. But all donations are completely optional and totally appreciated, especially by the party, because they love giving me complication points.
Mm-hmm.
They love
Please.
Save us, viewers.
Don't make our lives harder by
Alright.
giving
Please,
inspiration
God,
to NPCs.
Just help us.
Please no.
It has been 1 month since the party has been together. In that time, the world has largely gone unchanged. Tensions between the 5 nations persist, the dragon-marked houses remain relatively strong, and Sarlana is quiet and looming. Adventurers continue to trek through Zendrik's jungle, but today, we find ourselves in Sharn, the city of towers, with a feeling of darkness stirring, as though a bear rising from hibernation. On Baracus the 15th, each member of the party received a letter. In fine parchment and wax sealed with a cursive D, it called them to Moorgrave University, where weeks before, dark secrets were revealed. The party has traveled through various means, meeting in the Commons on the very spot they learned their journey to save Bennett Allswell had ultimately ended in failure. Worse than failure, utter defeat. The situation seems tense and awkward. Everyone roll a d6, and I'll roll one for our missing party member. Someone should open up PCs and take control of Ebonir for me.
Oh, I'll do it then, yeah.
Okay, so let's see.
Your friend,
So Anika arrives first.
Oh, hey.
Getting an early rise. You fly up to the top of the City of Towers, the university district where Moorgrave is. I'm going to show you a small layout of Moorgrave University, just so you get an idea
nice.
of what it looks like.
That is not small, Rick.
It's not actually small. But yeah.
Can't
So
believe
Annika,
it's
you
been
arrive
so long.
first. You notice that the sky is getting darker and darker. It's probably going to rain before too long. I already rolled for Ebonir. He got a 3.
Yep.
So Aldrin and Creep, you arrive after her, about 10 minutes afterwards, arriving and entering the commons together.
Oh, this is a quaint place. This is a quaint place, isn't it?
Been here before.
Yeah,
We haven't been inside properly before.
you were in the commons when you saw that terrible sight of Bennett Allswell being revealed to be, in fact, a Rakshasa in disguise a month ago.
Rakshasa.
Disguise.
Oh, God. So yeah, Creep and Aldrin, you arrive at the same time. What do you do?
So where are we supposed to go, Creep, anyway? What did the summons say?
The letter said to meet at Moorgrave University. That's basically it. Said to be supposing that you took care of everything. Come to Moorgrave University. I'll be waiting there for you. Signed, Lady Dolorith.
I am uncertain. It said just to come to Moorgrave University. Perhaps that we should do some exploration.
I suppose that's best. I mean, she said come here, but gave no room in this giant place. I fear we might get lost. Well, hopefully the end of the world won't come while we're stuck here pottering about.
So as you walk into the commons, you see Annika waiting on the bench that you had been there a month before, that is below the dual statues of Orion, the god of magic and knowledge. You know, the human statue with its long beard, and it's holding a spell book, and then the gnome standing beside him, another depiction of Orion.
Oh, Annika, it's been so long. What, weeks and weeks? How have you been? And Odwin will try and give an awkward hug to Annika.
No.
It's
Yeah.
happening. Don't try to stop this. The hug is
No.
coming in.
Yeah, it's a
Please.
slow train of awkwardness. Accept it.
Just. Yeah, been good. Been better.
I suppose we've all been better after that bombshell that was given to us by Dolores and poor Bennett. What's that noise?
Somebody's yelling at someone inside a building.
Yeah, I'm getting yelled at. Hang on. Be right back.
Same.
What have you been up to? It's been so long.
Been working on a few things. Well,
What?
a couple of things.
Have you had no break? You didn't even come visit.
I mean, it's not that I don't like you all. I just, like last time we were together, got told about the end of the world. So,
I mean, it's not like you can get told about the end of the world twice or 3 times, you know?
it's true, but, just you do whatever you do when you're having
Having a
our
what?
own methods.
Sure. Have you seen any of the others? It's been so long.
Not
All right,
much. A bit.
So I'm going to go through really quick. Aldrin, you need to deduct 382 gold from your inventory.
382, I shall do.
Yes. Annika did not actually spend any money during the downtime outside of
I also
living expenses.
I don't know if something changed, but I swear I didn't have this much gold before. Have we had some added?
You got 500 gold each from Dolorith.
Okay, cool, sweet.
I suppose I assume that you added some, or that you removed some for living expenses.
Yeah, I will have done. I just completely forgot that we've got money.
All right, so
I looked in and I was like, I was broke.
Where the heck is Creep? Creep's not here, so I'm going to deduct it for him. He spent 1,175 gold. 270, so that's 200, 975, 905.
I just deducted mine.
See, 905 versus doing some math, and then 31 more. So he's down to 208 silver. Which is like, well, I'll round that up. Sorry, I just deducted your downtime expenditure. Oh god, your background sound is really, really bad.
Oh, crap. Sorry.
Turn your fan up, man. Open a window.
Yeah.
And move to
Ebonir
Britain.
needs to. yeah, sure. Doesn't get hot there.
I mean,
Hey, we have been into double figures recently.
that is true. I mean, we live in the north though, so our double figures includes lots and lots of stormy rain. It's wonderful.
94 and then 62. Doing
actually-
math live on stream.
Remind me about living expenses. What was
There are living
modest?
expenses. Remember that.
Comfortable is 1 per day, 1 gold per day. Modest is 1 per day. Comfortable is 2 gold per day.
We were
Tranquility, you need to subtract 275, and
Already did
Toussaint,
it.
550.
Can I by chance convert my silver into?
Oh yeah,
gold?
for sure.
Okay, thank you.
So as you guys are talking, Ebonir shows up. Unfortunately, Ebonir is Ebonir, and
He's
Orion
weird.
is not here today. So he greets you, and he seems to be in a pretty dour mood, and he talks about how, I went all over and went back to Fairhaven for a little bit and came back and done a bunch of research. And wait, did you research? Oh crap! I never answered his PMs for research.
Well, gee.
In Fairhaven,
Oh yes, he had to go and quit his job.
you
He got
quit your
some
job
going
over
away
there?
presents. He's going to be busy working for Lady Dolorith from here on out, of course. I am Ebonir, he says, as I literally fail to do a voice
You
halfway
could
through.
do a British accent. It'd be glorious.
All right, so who arrives after them? Toussaint. About 20 minutes later, you show up.
What time of day is it?
It's morning. It's like mid-morning. It's like 10:30.
Yeah, I think Toussaint shows up looking a little ruffled around the edges. He at some point picked up a pair of like dark sunglasses.
Surprised
He didn't buy them, he just found them somewhere.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
these things happen.
He woke up with them
Speaking-
someday.
Speaking of that,
Aldrin.
Aldrin also has like some tinted glasses.
Rose colored.
Musical.
What, with the slats in them, yeah?
Yeah,
No lenses.
Toussaint walks into the commons, where everyone is standing around the middle statue.
Bonjour. Good morning. Is everyone alive?
Close to it. You look hanging on the edge, though.
It was a good month.
I don't doubt it. By your current state, it seems quite the opposite.
I mean, people react in different ways.
I suppose. Anything exciting happening in your months away?
Oh, so much. I could not even begin. Sometime I will tell you for sure.
In graphic detail.
Yeah, very.
Oh, I think I can be spared the specifics.
You think you can? I think not.
At least you're much more friendly than Nico over here about what happened.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean,
So,
you don't have to
I'll-
apologize, but it's accepted. Thank you.
And you wonder why I stayed away for a while.
But you didn't even send a message, a letter, or anything.
I
We
mean, you were
needed
free
to
to come and
do
see me.
something.
Where were you?
I was halfway across the country. I tried to send letters to you all, but I think there was interruptions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll choose to believe that then.
I thank you for choosing to believe that. So, what are we all here for? I remember Dolores sending that summons, but
We are probably going to die at the hands of some demon or devil moon. Or, I do not remember. It was in that book.
I mean, you say it with such surety. I hope it turns out different.
I will die with no regrets. I will tell you.
Oh God. I'm
Sorry,
having-
I was. Ah, man, I really hate it. Let me see if I can't do.
I mean, you're a bit louder than other people. You could maybe turn your volume down, like your gain down.
Is this better right here?
Very
Yes.
close.
Yeah, that's much better.
Very much.
Oh, now you hear Rick's thunderstorms.
Yes.
It's wonderful. Love
All
it.
right.
Why do we
Yes,
have
you
thunder
hear
for?
you hear a crack of thunder as it begins to rain, and Tranquility walks through into the commons.
Does he look different?
Storm. Yes, very different.
Holy shit! Describe him.
So before Tranquility had definitely a very steel and copperish tone. It was bronze. He always seemed like his eyes a distinct blue, and he seemed to always take care of his robes. But now something seems different about him. It's almost as if his metal has darkened more, and his robes no longer cover half his body. It's just he has pants with what looks to be the remaining tatters of his once red robe just hanging around his waist almost like a coat. And on his arms he still wears his black bonds. But his eyes no longer radiate the former blue. They seem darkened, almost a strange red hue as he walks in.
Spicy.
As he walks in-
Tranquility. It's nice of you to join us.
It is starting to rain. The rain starts to fall lightly at first, and then by the time Tranquility reaches you, it's pouring.
Oh, is the commons kind of like indoors?
No,
Or is
it's
it
an open air. As you can see in the image, it's like an open air courtyard.
Do you think we should get inside before this rain drenches us?
I'm sure that would be far more appropriate. It is good to see you again, Aldrin.
The pleasure is all mine, Tranquility. You seem to have changed a bit. Did you get a polish up? I say as I'm heading towards the dry area.
As you'll follow, no, I've been spending much of my time in the Fallen. Polishing is not quite as common. He thinks for a moment. It is not something I can do easily.
So
It's a
you all walk into this study hall area, because it's the closest one. There's a few people studying there. They all look up as you enter, and then get back to their business.
You're looking a bit rough.
I mean, more than rough. I think he looks quite fine, though. Like, look at something seems different, you know? More grand. Do you know what happened, Anika?
I have had the pleasure of meeting a new friend who has taught me much. I have come to appreciate things differently, and I find pleasure in helping out people who need it. Kind of.
Kindness is so reward.
There's much I could tell you about what I've done down in the Fallen.
On that note, what I want you guys to do is go around and talk about, like, tell each other in character what you've been doing during this last month. You're going about it, Tranquility. Please continue.
Yeah.
So with this, he'll kind of look around as he'll brush off his robes that hang around his waste. I had spent some time talking to a group of thugs. Remember that halfling girl? The one who jumped us initially? I seem to have befriended her and a couple of the other thugs and them. And I've convinced them to help in the fallen, instead of attacking random passers-by, but perhaps protect those.
Really?
And I met with a merchant's guild. He thinks for a moment, kind of realizing, oh yeah, this is kind of important. They are now bringing trade to the fallen. Money's finally flowing in that way.
You helps people in the fallen. That's quite admirable. Even I haven't done as much as that. How is people there now? How's the church?
The church is as it was. I was not too focused in my efforts there, but at least the people seem happier. Oh, I even tried out that fighting that you did. As I look at both of them, it was interesting. Won a few, lost another. But between the negotiating and the little bit of work I put in myself, it's coming along nicely. It's just a scratch in what I hope to be a much grander picture, you know?
I see. I see. I mean, I think what you did is not small at all. In fact, it is quite grand in itself at the moment, helping people like that. And then I look at Toussaint. I mean, and he's about to say something, and he just cuts himself short. And it's just he just hovers his stare over Toussaint.
Did you do anything productive? I kind of look at Toussaint's catching Aldrin's gaze.
Productive? I mean,
I mean, reproductive, maybe.
She said something about for expenses, but here we are, all this money, and I start out. I'm just about to make sure I am not leaving any unfinished business, and Ebenir say something about the brothel and diseases. Maybe not Ebenir, Annika, you. I do not remember. I only know that if it were Ebenir, I would have gone to make sex on his sister again, and I did not do this.
Ebenir looks aghast, but ultimately silent, as though his voice has been stolen from him.
So I think Toussaint will show them I will stay away from the ladies for a time. I hear about these gloves. One time they give you magic fingers. So I grease some palms and I call in some favors and voila! And he wiggles his fingers, not wearing gloves.
Oh no!
Magic fingers.
Where's the gloves? What does the gloves just like go into your skin and make you magic fingers?
He just like grins cleverly and wiggles again. Magic fingers.
I have seen it all. I have seen it all.
Well, I mean, I think the point is that you haven't seen it.
This is true. And I understand.
Oh, I wanted to put that elsewhere.
I mean, you both have a skill for the finer arts of trickery and subtlety, more so than I.
I am beginning to understand why Annika always feels slightly insulted by these things you say.
No, I mean that in good faith.
This is what you always say.
No,
you are valued.
You are valued. You are. I mean, I am glad. And he kind of not grabs, but touches Toussaint and Annika on the shoulder. Says, "No, I am glad to be beside you, boss. I think your skill sets are valuable, and we would not have got here if it wasn't for."
It has been so long since I watched you backpedal this way. I've missed it.
I am not backpedaling, he says, and he gives a cheeky grin at Toussaint. I am merely
reversing,
I'm
changing flow, swapping things up,
I'm merely
coming
being
at it from another
honest.
angle.
So, so where was I? Magic fingers. Yes. So I think, how do I serve humble pie? This is best served cold.
Yes.
Monsieur Lesson, I borrow this book you have of missing books. You probably did not know this. But there's this man
He
in there.
goes through his bag, or well, he goes like, it basically says that he tried to return it, but well, when he arrived in Fairhaven, it was gone. Was wondering where that
Oh.
went.
Right, yes, here. And he hands him the book. And another, and hands him this other book. That was its name I have heard as I travel around the city. Ryan Rowe. He was in there. It take me about a week. I find him. He is easy to recognize. He walked like a man who was shot in the foot.
Is that because you
Was
shot him
it-
in the foot?
Yes.
Well, while we are on the subject, this month I was with you all. So I find him, but he do not have the money to pay the late fee. I get the book. This is good. And he tell me of another man, Monsieur Audley. He owe him a debt. He say if I collect debt, I keep it all. Seems like good deal, good use of time.
Mm-hmm.
So I go to find Monsieur Audley. I do not meet him. He is away on business. I think he is some rug merchant. But I meet Madame Audley.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
yeah.
The debt is covered. I do not have the fee, so I think. What do you do now, Toussaint? I am good with dice, so I gamble. I think I can win this
course.
back, and I do
course.
well. I do well. I always do well. You know, I am Toussaint. So I must celebrate. And it has
course.
been weeks since I have been to the Brussels. So I go. I maybe I indulge a little. I tell you, I have traveled up and down the coastlines of Corvair. There is nowhere where the whores are as inventive for the price than Charm.
Is
Oh,
this
dear.
what you needed your magic fingers for?
Ebeneer, like, he's got a looking through one of the books in his hand, just slams it down,
He slams it down.
and it's just like you just hear someone around the room. Shh.
I wash my hands. Do not worry.
Of course, you had a wonderful time, even only you could have a string of debt collecting, gambling, and sleeping in the Brussels. I don't know what to say, frankly.
Yeah. I will say I am
Sleeping.
I am out of money and body fluids. I need to hydrate today.
Oh God. Oh, I made a terrible mistake.
Yes,
I
you
regret everything.
I think we can help you with the money. The body fluids, not so much.
Hang on, who says we can help him with the money? Also, is that including the money that you supposedly got back with this book?
Oh no, there was no money. I could not take Madame Audley's money after. Well, the rugs were very soft.
Of course, I'm
I,
sure.
I believe you've spoken enough.
I just hope it wasn't a repeat of the Banshee. That would be pretty uncomfortable.
Very, but yes, I was with you, all of you, whoever. If someone asked.
Of course.
Nah.
Oh God.
You invited this, Rick.
Oh yeah, I did. That's fair.
See, I wish I had an interesting time as you, but not so much. And then he looks at Creep. Kind of. I'm sure you had a Normal time, creep. He says.
Aldrin's just grilling everybody to find out what they
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
He just had a boring time. He wants
Aldrin
everyone.
doesn't know what you did last summer, but he'll find out.
Nobody
Creep.
called.
Creep clears his voice box and looks to everyone and says, "Yes, I've spent quite a bit of time in the library, actually, learning and studying more magical abilities. Beyond that, I made a new friend and learned
Is this friend
some more."
alive? Sorry, just have to make sure.
No, that is a legitimate question with me. Yes, it is. It's still inside my cloak right now, actually.
Wait, sorry, hang on. What?
You hesitated.
Wait, did you actually make this friend, like out of spare parts?
Yeah, and if so, how is it alive?
Yes. I mean,
I-
having the organs of living people doesn't constitute being alive.
I hold out my left arm as a black widow comes crawling out of my sleeve and onto my hand.
Oh,
Is
no.
it just a Black Widow, or
It's a black widow that has like a symbol of like a skull on its back, and its body itself is slightly bigger than a normal spider, but it still retains that reddish black that a poisonous spider would.
it's still probably much bigger than a normal Black Widow?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
That's
it's
horrifying.
probably a tarantula size.
Tarantula size.
Yeah.
That is the most fucked up and creepy thing I can imagine. Oh god, please
Yeah.
stop.
There's nothing different about it other than it's bigger.
As he holds it up in his hand and says, "This is a friend I made."
You made a Black Widow, and you put the skull on its back.
No, it came like that. Find
Like
familiar is an interesting spell.
Well, at the end of the day, I think it's fitting for you, creep.
Does it have a name?
I was gonna go with
Let's see.
Charles, but I think that's a bad idea.
Charles the
creepy,
Spider?
We'd call it Creek, but that name's taken.
Yeah.
I think
Creep's
it's-
note.
I think Creep would probably name it something simplistic like Fang or Skull.
Choose one.
Fang is probably a better name.
No, Fang or Skull, that's its name. I'm
Oh,
a
shit.
Skull.
All right. Well, that's been added to the combat tracker, so we'll deal with that.
Alright. As
I'll come up with a token for it later.
As he rifles through his book and says, "I've learned many spells. Oh, and I've also learned a trade. I am now a practitioner of herbalism, and I've learned enough in order to make some healing fragrance. for
Not
us if
quite. You
needed."
still need a
You
little
are a
bit
weak
more.
shirt.
Or have you
Oh.
have you done learning of that before?
No, I haven't. I
No,
believe.
You still need a few more weeks. You're getting there.
He actually needs only one more week with his intelligence.
2, 3, 4, 5. Well, you need like 10 total minus your intelligence.
And he has a 4 intelligence. Or plus
Yeah,
4
so
with him.
one
Yeah.
more, like 5 more days of training, and you'll be certified.
Like,
Certified.
guys, out of my like 20 days of training, I've done like 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he'll kind of mention that like I was taking a course for 20 days. I'm about 5 days short.
Of course. Well, that's wonderful. They
Here
do
at
say
the,
learning never stops.
It's
Here at the university?
it's technically a 2-month course, but you've been just going through it extremely quickly.
Just like I am the honor student who figures everything out quickly.
So, like Toussaint said, is it at this university or somewhere else?
Yes, it is at the university. I actually, yes, it was here at the university, he says.
That's just wonderful. I imagine you in a classroom now, among these students, and looks around at the study hall. Can you imagine that, everyone?
kind of look around before looking at the spiders. The spider turns to look at me.
And the eyes met. It's beautiful.
I'm gonna have to make it like this dumb cartoon spider now.
Yeah, it is. It should be.
So,
That sounds quite uneventful.
I have learned to do something very interesting, though.
If you
Behave like a
don't
normal
demonstrate on
person.
someone, don't demonstrate.
I have learned that I can throw the spider at people and then use my magic on them through the spider.
Please don't throw your spider at anyone. They will
Uh,
be
I have a question. How did you learn that? Was it through practice?
Yes, very much so.
Let's just say that cat did not see that coming.
Are you still welcome here?
Oh yes, it was training dummies.
Oh, that's fine.
Sure.
Did they know you call them dumb?
I don't think so.
It's just this is the worst.
You asked.
I mean,
I mean, in fairness, you did ask.
I do kind of. Actually, I don't regret it, frankly. But Creep, you are an interesting fellow. Just don't put that spider near any of us, please.
It's all right. I can use the spider to also cast healing spells too.
I think I would rather die than have that spider on me. I must say.
You all heard that?
I mean, still,
Look, it's lovely.
do you want to touch it?
He holds his hand out. Do you wish to touch it?
What did you do, Aldrin, over this last weekend? Trying to like immediately turn the conversation away.
really quick before you continue, Stone donates $25.
Holy
Hey,
shit.
oh,
Says-
no.
Keeping
No.
this plot point for a rainy day.
Oh boy!
I hate you so much for both the pun and the situation.
The instant joy followed by the horror.
Well, thank you very much, Stone. I'm sure that whatever you use it for is going to be great.
It's gonna be horrifying.
Thank you, Stone, and also
I'm-
screw you, Stone.
I'm probably going to use that money to get a new mouse because I've got 3 mice and they're all broken in some way or
That's
another.
tragic.
Oh, it's rough. So, I think somebody asked Aldrin
Annika's
to...
going over to, like,
Oh.
pet this gigantic black widow.
Oh,
It-
Aldrin turns
as
away.
you get up to it, you notice it doesn't actually have any fangs. It's incapable of attacking. It has no fangs.
I mean, what, isn't its name Fang? Is that what we decided on?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Okay,
Oh,
Toothless.
aren't you an ironic little thing?
I do not understand why he came out without fangs. Creep says confused.
Stone also says, I can't believe Ebonier's sister is sleeping with the entire party.
Wow.
Oh my god, stop revealing our plot points early.
Wait a minute. Hold up. How can she sleep with us?
Yes.
You're just a love machine.
Don't worry about it.
Nobody but her.
Like, but I just got the joke.
Don't
Okay,
worry about it. That's spoilers.
Oh, well, I
War-
wasn't worried about it until that.
Yeah. So, Aldrin was about to talk about his day, I think.
Oh my god, why wasn't he called Crawford?
Yeah. That'd be the best.
It's too late now. He's got a name. You can't change it. So, Aldrin.
Yes.
You're the last one, except for Ebonier.
And
If you
Annika.
asking,
I mean-
no, Annika already talked about it, didn't she?
No.
I vaguely mentioned shit.
Okay.
We can
gosh.
have it that I talked about it.
Okay. Well, if you want to talk about it more in depth, feel free.
I'll be bullshitting, but yeah.
So,
Oh,
I
I
mean, none of you ever, sent a letter or anything. I mean, Annika here said she was working, but no letters. What were you doing, Annika? Away from us all.
I mean, good deflection there, but yeah, I was working. I was making stuff. Did you know how ridiculous the price of like wholesale metal is in this city?
Actually, Annika, are you wearing your new thing?
I am, yeah. Annika's got a fancy new cloak on.
It looks like it's made of stone.
Yeah, I skinned stone and like that's
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks like it's vintage Portuguese, skinned and tanned.
Does it have a
it-
sign of
kind of
counterhand?
Portuguese.
It looks like rough stone, although it moves like cloth.
it's
Also
probably a
quite
bit
seductive.
longer than one would expect for a
What-
cloak, but then like she's only
yeah.
small, so
One thing Annika is like struggling with is it's quite heavy.
Oh,
That
this
isn't-
The cloak itself weighs 20 pounds, man.
Jesus Christ.
You got your training weights on.
it's like Piccolo's turban.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
So what is this thing that you've created? As I look at the cloak,
It's
I assume you made it.
oh yeah, no, this I just bought. The thing I made was no, yeah, it's it's pretty special. It's not bad. Do we really need to explain everything now? It's useful. Let's go with that, because
Okay.
I don't want to tell you.
I mean, it seems like
Give you magic fingers.
Yeah, magic fingers. Let's go with that.
Wonderful.
That makes
I
the
would-
ultimate reveal of its ability even more disturbing.
I would think you would want to show off some things you made, especially some things that look so fine and lovely.
You're flattering, but yeah, I am showing it off. Isn't it good?
It's quite good, I must say. It looks quite nice. Can I touch the material quickly?
Yeah, yeah.
I'll just kind of feel it between my fingers.
It feels like rough leather. It looks like
This
stone and moves and feels like rough leather.
This is quite interesting because it looks and feels completely different.
Yeah, it's deceptive, isn't it? You know,
Imagine
like
having
me
clothes
and
like
Toussaint.
this.
That's why you keep us round. Well, now you got a cloak that you can keep round too. Isn't that nice?
I mean, a cloak cannot replace the lovely companionship of both of you, of course.
This is backpedaling again.
No. This is me being honest. Always honest, of course. I am never not honest.
Of course. Me too.
Of course. Is that what you tell your lasses you need?
I mean, I do not tell them much.
Yeah, he can't be dishonest if he doesn't say anything about it.
That is an interesting angle to approach things.
He's a master of approaching things from interesting angles.
speaking
Ebenir makes a
of
comment that
interesting.
Toussaint is sometimes too honest.
This is a matter of opinion.
I wish I did as interesting things as all of you, to be perfectly frank.
Well, what did you do? Because, I mean, I was just working. Interesting, yeah, but not for everyone. I could explain it to you, but it'd make no sense.
I mean, even if it doesn't make any sense, just hearing about someone who does something they're passionate about is wonderful, don't you think? Something as beautiful as that.
I mean, it depends what they're passionate about. Last month we met a guy who likes strangling women.
I mean, that is true, but I did you strangle any woman?
No, but that's not the point.
Then we are in the clear. That's all that matters. You
Why,
haven't heard.
why are you only asking me anyway? Toussaint's one who was about in the brothels and
You
Only
know,
when
I
I
mean,
spent some time down in the Fallen, because, you know, that's a cheery place to spend time.
I mean, I wouldn't worry about Toussaint. He loves women too much, and Tranquility doesn't have the heart for it, frankly. And I mean it in jest. I don't think any of us would ever strangle someone.
You are still filibustering.
Alden, you haven't told us about your time off, have you?
I visited. Sorry, what were you gonna-
Everyone's pressuring him.
peer pressure. I visited a place. Vathaland. Has any of you heard of it? No.
Uh,
I remember.
you guys could make history checks, perhaps.
I'm not going to. Annika probably doesn't know, probably doesn't care.
I mean, that's fair. I might. I've
Okay.
traveled.
Yeah.
Not that I remember most ports.
Toussaint, you would know Vatharond is a city at the far end of Brelin's lightning rail system. It was on the border of Sire before the Day of Mourning, and now it's a border city. It's literally right on the border, just a few miles to the west of the Mournland. It's not a very nice place. It's pretty run down.
This is not a hospitable place.
It wasn't, but the people there were quite nice, actually. I remember once them giving me a room as I arrived there. I couldn't find it in, and I couldn't find my way around the place, frankly. And yes, I just spent some time there writing letters, but I figured I would see what the events in that book told about, like the after effects, and I am glad that we are doing something to combat whatever they did, because some of the monstrosities you see from that beast are horrifying. They call it the dead grey mist. It surrounds
The dead
moon
gay
and
mist.
the dead grey. God damn it!
The dead gray mist.
Yeah, the dead gay mist makes you gay as you go through. Of course,
Same.
that's how it works.
And dead.
And dead, you know. But it surrounds the moonland, and it's horrifying. But the people there, they stay in this place. They protect this place, their home. Few of them leave, and I just think that's so beautiful. I was standing there, staying there, writing letters, and to an old friend, just thinking about when all of us would meet again. To be frank, I tried sending out letters, but they never arrived, apparently. And I'm just glad we met now, because I think what we're about to do, it will be beautiful.
No bullshit here. You sent letters, right? Like, no judging. I don't care if you were too busy. Be honest.
I sent letters while I was there.
To us.
To you.
And they didn't get here.
They did not get there. Which is kind of strange now that you think about it.
I mean, we just got dealing with cult shit and horrible monstrosities, and now our communications are apparently being intercepted, and no one thinks that's a bit weird.
I mean, I feel like it was more of a failure of the mail system than anything else.
Well, how do you send them?
How do you send letters?
There's one of the dragon.
You work with or you send them through House Civis mail stations, basically.
There was a friend of there was someone I met at Vathrond who said they were dropping by Shan to visit their family. They were fleeing the chaos in that town. Since they were, going the same direction as all of you, I entrusted them some letters and a gift to give to you all. It seems.
Oh, so when you say you sent letters, you left them with some random bugger?
He wasn't random. He was quite nice. He was a lovely fellow. I think you would have liked him, Toussaint. He was from Mondare too. Had the hair and everything, and dressed as finely as you.
Oh yes, the Ondale men. We get along famously.
I suppose when you're not all having duels. I swear, when I was in Fairhaven, every moment out in the courtyard in front of my bakery, there'd be a man, always a young man, with a lot to prove, having duels with another, the same as him. Ugh. It got
What
quite
kind of
boring.
square did you live in?
You go to on there's always duels. Always.
Always duels. Yes, they do this.
Dual wield.
It is quite ridiculous. But yes, are you sure you did not get them at all? Any word at all?
No, I've been lying this whole time. I got them all. Yeah.
I mean, unless you addressed yours to the brothel, probably not. No.
Yeah, where'd you address them to? Because I've not been back to the Eye of the Beholder, and I mean, there's certain chemicals, and they make a bit of a smell, and people were complaining. So
I directed them to the university, of course. And I think that is the best place. It's kind of saddening, actually, that they didn't reach this place. I worry for my friend.
So I
Still,
wonder.
we're together finally.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
we are.
Yes. So I'm gonna really quick gonna have Ebeneer. Ebeneer goes through his month. He researched some things. Talks about how he did some deep research into the Rakshasas, and especially the Silver Flame. How they dealt with Rakshasas. Found out some interesting information, but which he can't reveal to you at this moment.
Oh.
He also traveled up to Fairhaven and had to finally resigned. Got a nice gift. Found out that one of his favorite professors there passed away. It was really sad. But he came back and tried to make a little bit more money. And totally failed at gambling, and then started training in Infernal, that's going well. He's starting to learn the language so that we can understand the Rakshasa. And as he finishes, the door behind slams open, and in walks. Do I have them on hand? Yeah, I do. Oh god, too big.
Gwen?
Oh. Well, I just deleted someone from the map. I don't know who it is. So the door opens, and in walks, you see Lady Dolorith in a proper cloak, with Gwen next to her, both in cloaks. They walk in. It's about noontime, as they put down their cloaks, take them off. It wasn't supposed to rain today, was it? Gwen is just like, of course it was supposed to rain today. You're so absent-minded. Who did I actually delete from it?
Aldrin.
Aldrin. That's fine.
Oh,
I mean, it is fine.
I'm not going to disagree.
So yeah, Lady Dolorith and Gwen see you, and Dolorith smiles at you and walks up to you. It's like, well, don't stand there. We've got a meeting to attend to. I'm sorry that I'm late. I was held up this morning. Taking care of some final pieces of business. If you please follow me, Dala should be upstairs waiting for us.
It is good to see you again, Dolores.
Charmed. She looks at you into your now strange eyes. Yes. It's a pleasure to see you too. And well, we can't keep Dala waiting. Please come. She walks, she talks. Well, I hope it's been an eventful month for a lot of you. An eventful month for me. Getting everything situated around. Dala has given me a bit of what we'll hear, but this will be the first time I'm hearing much of this, I'm sure. She spent the last month deciphering that book. She brings you up a flight of stairs, going up one flight, two flights, going around. She takes it in stride. She seems, despite her hoity-toity nobleness, she can deal with flights of stairs like
She got stairs.
She's good at stairs. She has proficiency in stairs.
You seem quite rushed. Is everything fine?
I'm running late. I was supposed to meet with her almost 2 hours ago. I'm sure she'll be fine then.
She's not gonna be fine, is she, Rick?
Well, that's assumptuous. That's presumptuous.
Yes, it is. Yes, let's not tarry then. Let's go see what she's been up to.
You get up to the third and top floor of this section of Moorgrave University, which Guess I will. Oh God, where is it? Where is it? Come on. More graves. There it is. Yeah, more graves. Yeah, you can kind of see all how the towers are laid out and see the courtyard and yeah. So she leads you into the top floor of one of the buildings of Morgrave University. Leads you down a hallway to the office of Dala Arand. It's a small office. It just has a simple letter, and she opens it without knocking, and you just hear like oh, like a sudden shock, and she stops in the doorway. Well, sorry, Dala. I didn't mean to surprise you. No, come in.
Excuse us.
Yes. So you all pile into this small office. There's a single desk, a single bookcase, and a single, like a bench, a padded bench. There's no place for all of you to sit. But Dolorith simply takes a seat on the bench, and Gwen stands next to her. Please come in. You were supposed to meet me almost 2 hours ago. So Dala seems fine, although a bit out of sorts. She's got deep bags under her eyes as if she hasn't been sleeping well, but otherwise looks fine. With her, she's got her hair tied up in a ponytail, but it's frizzled everywhere. She's wearing her appropriate teaching robes, although, well, like scholar robes.
Sorry, we tarried a bit. Are we here all to discuss a book?
Yes, the book. I've lost a bunch. I've had a bunch of sleepless nights over it, but I think I've got it all situated. She goes behind her desk, opens one of the drawers, and pulls out several sacks of paper. I've had my assistants, or I had one of my students. Well, not one of my students. One of the people that I help teach. Make some copies. The whole thing's written in Infernal, and not just Infernal, a very, very old form of Infernal. It's quite interesting, actually, and also quite terrible, quite terrifying.
I can only imagine such a language and such a book, such contents.
Yes. And I'm sorry, Mr. Erstone, I couldn't teach you Infernal myself. I was quite busy with this, you see. Ebonier seems a bit embarrassed by that.
I am Ebonier.
Yeah. So you all pile into this room. It's pretty drab. It's pretty normal. Like, the books are on... you can see that the books are general history books, and books on studying, a lot of books on Zendrick, specifically. There is actually a map on the wall next to her desk that is covered with... It's like been written on pretty extensively. It's a map of Zendrick. Anyone who has ever done any looking into any studying of Zendrick could recognize. So we should get right down to business then, shouldn't we?
Yes, we
So we
should.
have to two ways.
Oh, yes. So, this book, I can only study at night, thus the problems. It takes about 10 minutes exposed to moonlight before the ink rearranges it. I'm not sure what kind of magic it is, or if it's just ink. This Serarak, Sir Kara, not the most clever of acronyms, rearrangings of words.
Maybe that was intentional.
Perhaps. Quite a clever disguise hiding this knowledge in plain sight, though. In a picture book, no less.
I mean, it fooled all of us for a long time.
No, I didn't look at it.
I don't believe it fooled us as much as it just evaded our gaze. As I kind of look at Ebonier like, yeah, I'm kind of right?
Ebenir seems pretty pissed off that he didn't figure it out himself.
Of course.
So she is gonna start going into detail on the book. Let's see. I've got a handout. I suppose I'll hand this out. All right. So the book goes into grim detail on many things related to the undead, the nature of undead specifically. The relation to Katashka, Rakshasa Raja, who has been sealed away for many millions of years now. It has rituals specifically on creating crawling claws and flame skulls. I'm sure that none of you would want to make use of that.
I
look at
immediately perk up.
Kratos.
I immediately perk up. Would this be dangerous to do?
No more danger. These rituals no more dangerous than dealing with normal undead, but it does have some rituals related to much more dangerous creatures. It tells how to separate your soul from your body to become a lich, putting it away in a adamantine box. It talks about how through dark deals and betrayals you can become a blood-sucking vampire. Also talks about how to become a death knight, which I did a bit of research on and don't appear to show up in Eberron's history that much, although I'm sure that they're quite dangerous.
Oh,
What's the name like
I see. Crete seems incredibly interested.
It also talks about how to twist a dragon's heart, turn it into one of those forbidden creatures, a Dracolich, which is much like a normal lich, but even more dangerous, seeing the essence of a dragon within it.
That is horrifying. Who would have the power to, even touch a dragon's heart? So,
perhaps a Rakshasa, perhaps someone being manipulated by them. This knowledge was clearly not meant for mortal eyes. Although, as you can see, I've done a pretty good job of translating it all.
you have. Well done.
I see.
Doroth speaks up, and you will be well rewarded for it, I assure you. Yes, we'll get to the rewards in a bit then, Miss Doroth.
Could I, out of curiosity, I would like to do more research into this if possible. I say, looking over to Dolores.
We can talk about what will happen to the book after this, now that it's been translated and, well, that Rakshasa already clearly knows at least some of its contents.
Yes, of course.
So what about the moon?
Yes, getting to that. So this moon, this 13th moon, the name of the book, in tales it's known as Sira the 13th moon. I believe the Blood of Vol, that little cult, actually has its own calendar, including a 13th month for that moon. Although it disappeared, the last counting of it disappeared thousands of years ago, around the same time that Zoriat was sealed away by the gatekeepers, back during the Decani Empire. You see,
Quite some time ago.
thousands of years ago, something like 5,000 to 8,000. It is said that with enough mass bloodshed, this creature, not really a creature, it's more like it's more equivalent to a corpse floating above our world and beyond. The afterbirth of the creation of all of existence, even the planes and beyond. What greater existence beyond that? But somebody keeps opening it and closing it. I see you. Don't think I don't see you. For the DM in the lower left of a handout, I can see who has it open.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was me. That was me.
You thought you were being sneaky, whoever
Yeah.
that is.
So, yes, this creature, Atropus, the world-born dead, is said to be able to be awakened by mass bloodshed, such as which happened during the day of mourning. In fact, I theorize that perhaps all of this is happening because of the day of mourning. It was said to be served by a single Rakshasa during the Age of Demons, an undead fiend known as Zastan.
Undead. An undead was Rakshasa?
Yes, something like that. It doesn't go into great detail of how it's undead. Perhaps it's a vampire, or a mummy, or a death knight, or even a lich itself. Well, that's quite the odd combination, not something that you see, and definitely a creature to be avoided.
Yeah, such a monstrous thing could raise cities.
Most troubling related to Atropus is that there is a ritual detailed in here that could potentially cause the mass bloodshed that happened on the day of mourning again. It requires either corrupting an artifact or finding an evil artifact yourself. A ritual that takes almost 24 hours and unleashes this terrible blast of energy as something equivalent to unleashing the entire magic held within the artifact.
And is this the scepter and crown that we talked about before?
Yes. She flips through the book. She has the 13th moon in front of her, but she flips through it, and obviously it's still the middle of the day, so the ink has not changed. And then she closes it back and takes up her translations of it. Yes. This demonic regalia, as it's called. It said that they were created alongside created by the Rajas during the Age of Demons, alongside a set known as the Draconic Regalia, which doesn't have much details on that. These sets were made up of a crown, a scepter, and an orb. The demonic regalia are probably some of the most evil artifacts by their description, capable of corrupting people and raising the dead, putting fear in the heart of mortals. But these artifacts, the crown of black fire, the scepter of Fel Kadash, and the sphere of iron fire, as they're called, could potentially be used to do this ritual once again.
So if the Rakshasa knows of this, then should we perhaps do something ahead of time to make sure that he can't get these items? Or should someone at least?
Lady Delorith clears her throat. Yes, that is what I was going to suggest hiring a lot of you for. I think if we can find and seal away these artifacts before the Rakshasa, the Lords of Dust, as they call themselves, can capture them themselves, well, perhaps we can stop another day of mourning from happening.
One thing I don't understand is why didn't they just do the same ritual immediately after? I mean, if they had so much time to, couldn't they just use the regalia when they caused the great travesty at Sea?
Well, Dala speaks up. I don't think the Day of Mourning itself was caused by one of these artifacts. It may have been a different artifact, and it might not be related to Lords of Dust at all. We're just simply can't know. Of note, these regalia have actually been actually vanished from most of history for the last thousands of years. But some of my connections in Zendrick have heard rumors of a scepter being held by a warlord in the desert down there.
Scepter. The scepter.
Perhaps the scepter. One sec, let me type out the the names. Yes. There is. There are rumors of a scepter being held by a creature down in the desert down there that perhaps could go after. There are also a number of other people we could get in contact with. Miss Dolores, if you didn't mind, I would be willing to forego some of my reward for this if I could accompany them to find this scepter. She looks. Dolores looks. Well, if they're okay with it, they will be. These 6 will be the ones going after it and risking their lives, after all. If they're still up for it. I only assume they are if they showed up.
Well, we are talking this or the end of the world, right? Or at least another travesty, much like the Mournlands.
I am very interested in helping.
Yes, I'm sure you are. As I kind of look at that book and look at him again, like,
Well.
He smiles and says, "The more chances I get to prove my magic is good, the better."
Yes. Well, so yes, there's also some other information in the book. It talks about that Rakshasa Raja, Katashka, said to control the very barrier between life and death.
What?
It's said that several millennia ago, it fused with a wizard, a servant of its known as Caius. It's not Caius, it's Caius. But was ultimately sealed away before it could cause any harm. It actually gives a quite accurate location of where it could be. Definitely want to keep that out of the hands of anyone who would want to interfere with that. It also talks about the Mark of Death, which was thought to be a myth by some, but now there's hard evidence that it existed in the past. This Mark of Death was held by by the House of Vol many thousands of years ago. The house tried to stop a conflict between elves and dragons. A half-dragon elf was produced by the name of Arandis, but they managed to succeed in uniting the elves and dragons, although to destroy House Vol. And have said that all those years ago, the house was destroyed and the Mark of Death was lost. It said here that it had the creation to the powers related to creating undead, including the ability at its strongest point to create a lich regarding none of the terrible rituals usually involved in their creation.
That is horrifying, but wait, no, didn't we hear about the Blood of Vol before? That book?
Oh, yes.
Who had it?
The teachings of House Vol is what and the destruction of their house is what ultimately came to produce the church, the Blood of Vol itself.
That is it. That's why we had the name of Vol before. But there was this book. Ebony, Anika.
The book of it was, yes, we saw it in Corolla Sattler's place. The Divinity Within.
Yes, that's it.
Yes, that is said to be related to some of the teachings and lessons learned from House Vol and the foundation of the Blood of Vol religion. Something I've done a bit of research into. I think Ebenir might still have the book. Yes, he still has it. Ebenir says he still has it.
Right, so we got that.
The thing is, though, that is just confusing in a way. The Blood of Vol is associated with Crawler, or it seems Crawler is associated with Blood of Vol, but she's also What was this Makshasha? So maybe they are connected somehow? God damn it. Maybe they are connected somehow?
Dolores speaks up. I think it's perhaps. I don't think there's any connection in that regard. The Rakshasa do not normally interfere with the blood of old except to just use their members to fit their own gains.
I see, so maybe there's an instance. How did you notice that, by the way?
I have done much research for the people that ultimately work for me to take care of incidents such as this and prevent further bloodshed. Know thine enemy, as the saying goes.
That is wonderful research done. Oh, the blood of this mark of death. It's all chilling.
Well, the mark of death is gone. It's the entire bloodline was destroyed.
But why is it detailed in this book?
Well, this is a book talking much about the undead.
That is true.
So, getting to the point, we have to get one of these artifacts.
All of them, preferably.
Right.
But without all of them, perhaps we could at least prevent them from getting one so he can't complete the ritual, right?
Yeah, but what do we do when we've got them? I mean...
It only requires one.
Oh shit, okay, I didn't realize that. I thought it was one of those situations of...
Yes,
if we had...
a single artifact can be used to unleash this terrible nature. If they had all three, well... all of Corvair would probably be at risk. Or beyond.
In that case...
We're talking a disaster on a global scale.
In that case, we gather them and then we seal them away. Somewhere secure, somewhere where no one will look.
I mean, I thought this place was supposed to be one of the most secure, and they just, like, wandered in here on their own last time. Like, nothing we could do.
Well, don't worry about that. I've had my office personally secured with anti-scrying spells over the last month. Every day Lady Dolores has supplied the money for it, but trust me, we're completely safe. No one can even hear what's going on in here outside of that door.
Yeah, but what I mean is, once we got the artifacts, what do we do with them?
Lady Dolores speaks up. They can be destroyed, or at least gotten rid of for a time. Alternatively, they could be sealed away. If we send them to the Dreadhold, I could probably use some of my political connections to get them sent there, where I assure you they will never see the light of day, not for thousands of years at least. It's common knowledge the Dreadhold was the mass security prison of the kings of Galifar. It's like super Azkaban.
Super Azkaban.
It's a place where if you're put in there, you're not getting out unless they say you do. And even then, we're talking like people have to work together to get you out. It's the most secure place on the planet.
No one's ever broken out?
No one has ever broken out.
We could take it, guys. Maybe. No, we can't.
Stop this. When Rick said he has options for us, I don't think he meant for that to be one of them.
It's a prison island off the northern ranges of Cape Far. It's to the far northeast. It was turned by the early Galifar kings into an almost inescapable prison for those too important to execute and too dangerous to be left there. Maintained by House Kundarak, who, maintain all of the banks in Corvair.
Oh, yep. So I think.
So it's Gringotts Azkaban.
Yes.
Yeah. ×2.
Yeah, like
Whoa.
only those with the mark of warding can open things in there.
Oh. That's
So it is Azkaban, you need a goblin.
Oh, God.
Shit.
God damn it.
A dwarf, okay. House Kundarak are dwarves. There is no goblin dragon marked house.
Sadly.
Wow, racist.
Racist.
Well, maybe if you weren't a fallen race, you'd have a dragon mark.
Well, isn't
Wow.
there a but don't orcs have their own dragon marked house? What the
There
fuck
is
this?
there is a half orc / human dragon mark. Yes.
Do you see these motherfuckers are entirely racist?
Mm-hmm.
There's no Warforged dragon mark either.
Oh, yeah, but Warforged. Oh wait,
Is this all that is put in the book? Is there anything else?
No, that about covers it. I would be careful of this Zostin fellow. If that Rakshasa is still around, still active, well, if it's the single servant of Atropos, then you can guarantee it'll be the one most interested in bringing it about.
Yes, and once it's brought about, it's my understanding that there is no stopping it.
There are several portents of the coming of Atropos that were detailed in the book, and, well, all of the ones detailing its early arrival have come to pass already. The day of mourning, the Grand War ending in disaster, and so on.
So it is our aim to stop it in its path now.
Yes, the more bloodshed that happens over the next few years, the closer it could get. And if there's another day of mourning, well, not only will there be a great loss of life, then if that creature awakens, I don't think anything on this planet could stop it. We're talking a creature made of pure hatred toward life, whose very presence causes undead to raise from the ground.
Yes, I think something like that nothing could stop. We must just hope it stays in its current state.
So,
Lady Dolores stands up, and sort of moves toward the desk. Now the question is, what can we do about it?
I agree.
where do we start even?
I think these 3 artifacts would be the best to go after. I have some connections that I could send you toward for more research. I do have other groups that I need to meet with over the next few. Excuse me one sec. I've got people talking. My mother wants to get the dog in.
Oh, doggo.
Doggo.
Who, doggo.
Oh.
So Dala, you said that you had a lead on this scepter. Yes. Actually, I don't have that handout out. I gotta take a peek. Take a look.
Rick's catching himself unprepared.
It's in a book.
I do love hearing him talk to himself. That's the best shit ever.
Well, you should see me when I'm not on stream. I do it all the time. So over the last, I've gotten some news in from Stormreach, some of my associates there. News of a tribe in the, the Menektarun Desert in Zendrik. I've talked about this new tribe that has taken hold there. It's said to have be made up of Thrycreen and sand giants and all manner of creatures in the desert, but they've really put a hamper on any investigation into the archaeologists there, going as far as Melakot, which is on the far east of the desert. But it's said that its leader is a Thrycreen that wields a iron rod draped in chains, topped with a red flame, which matches the description of the scepter exactly.
So we go talk to him.
Well, you don't simply go to Zendrik to talk to somebody. We're talking it would take a week to get across to Zendrik at least, then trekking through the jungle or getting someone crazy enough to take you across the water to Menektarun directly.
It's quite a journey, frankly.
And the desert sand gets in everything.
Everything.
Just like you.
Oh, oh dear. Oh dear.
Is there not a means of magic that we could take?
Transporting over there would, well, you'd go as far as Stormreach, but after that you're on your own. Zendrick is... It's a continent that is quite hard to navigate. Whatever the giant... What the giants did all those thousands of years ago to stop the invasion of the quarry, well, it has cursed that continent. You can get lost quite easily. Magic for teleportation and fast travel are quite hampered. And the Sea of Storm, the Thunder Sea that separates Zendrick from Sharn is almost unnavigable by airship. There's a reason why Stormreach lies on the Stormfall, or the Skyfall Peninsula. Not even my pilot would be able to get a lot of you there. At least not without permission from the high-ups of Lyrandar, and I'd rather keep this on the down and low. Besides the scepter, there are 2 other artifacts we could look into. I do have connections you could speak with. Alrine Irkorin, who heads the Korenberg Library in Zalargo, does owe me a few favors.
Well, perhaps in the time it takes you to figure out where these other artifacts are, we can have retrieved this one.
That is also an option. I do have a few of my other employees that I could send on their way to do research into this.
Didn't Ebonir do some research on this as well already?
Ebonir just shakes his head. He didn't do any research on the artifacts themselves. And even if it did, we're talking, like, you're not going to find any books on them. Like, this... There are probably less than 10 books in the entire world that have information on the Regalia.
That makes sense.
They are ancient artifacts from the very dawn of time. Forged in when Eberron was born anew, after the progenitor dragons fought.
So quite a long time ago.
Yeah. They're old as fuck.
Damn. So the question is that if we were to say, let's say, stay on Corvair to do some research with the other artifacts, wouldn't that be better, since, we can easily travel around Corvair using teleportation circles?
Teleportation circles are still quite expensive. I could offer... one sec, I gotta close my window.
Is that an Apache helicopter in the background?
The wind is blowing quite fervorously here, so...
It fills you with determination.
My neighbor with his loud-ass motorcycles. We could... at the very... God, what was I saying? I could offer my airship to you. Well, not my airship. One I've rented long-term from House Lyrandar. Rickard de Lyrandar, my pilot, would be able to take you wherever you need to go.
Airship? I like the sound of that.
I kind of like that. That sounds nice.
So, my thought is that it takes, a week to go to Zendrick and we come back, and, if we somehow need to be back in Corvair faster, then there's going to be a hassle. But also, what worries me is that...
this is all going to be a hassle. This is a tough job, Aldrin. This is one not to be undertaken lightly. You're going up against the Lords of Dust, who have lived more lifetimes than you can imagine.
I give a smile. I know, and for that I am absolutely terrified. I think only an idiot would not be. But that is where we are at the moment. We have to do this to save people, and that is fine. But my mentality is...
If we have to get... Oh, fuck, go on.
No, Anika, you go ahead.
No, shut up. I interrupted you. This is me. This is Anika.
Yes, you did. Nothing out of the ordinary there, though. And he continues saying, if we can get as much research as we can done while over here with access to libraries and people and resources, then we can build up a list of things we can do when we're in Zendrick, since it seems like a very different place.
Regardless of what you choose, I will go with. Ultimately, it is your decision. It's more important that this is done rather than how it's done.
My problem is, if we do stay here, we have heard where this artifact is. If we need to get all of them, so long as the other two are hidden, then that's not a trouble. But if this one ends up in their hands because we didn't go for it,
That is true. I mean, the longest it would take us to tarry would be a week, 2.
Well, that's just to get to Zendrick. Then you have to travel across Zendrick, and this could be going after any of them would be quite the big undertaking, I'm sure.
That is true. Um,
and I mean, it could be that the other artifacts end up like buried for who knows how long before anything comes up about them.
it could be,
Right.
but it could also not be. You know, we may find that, I don't know, if we research into one of these artifacts and I look at Ebony and we have one of the most brilliant of minds to do so, then we could find that it is right under our nose or whatever, and while we are stuck in Zendrick searching for the scepter, then we may miss the opportunity to quickly snag us one of the other artifacts. I don't know. I just worry.
Is there not a way to be able to communicate quickly back and forth with each other? Even across such vast distances?
Oh, apparently we cannot even send letters.
I will be, well, before the lot of, if you decide to go to Zendrick, I will be providing you with a single sending stone. I had a much more robust communication system between myself and my compatriots, but that was unfortunately corrupted by a Rakshasa a month ago.
How could you let something fall into the hands of Raksasha?
One of my employees allowed a Rakshasa to get a hold of it, and then the entire system was corrupted. Or rather, not corrupted, what's the word?
Compromised.
Compromised, there we go, that's the word, thank you.
I mean, maybe you need better employees.
Well, I mean, she's turned to us, so
I mean, maybe you
She's-
need better employees. I kid, of course.
Again, with these barbs. Everything he says.
It is in jest, of course. You know, it's nice to have that, right? I trust you are all very mature people. Human.
You are from on there. That is for certain.
Just don't challenge me to a duel, will you?
No, not today.
I can tell you I don't look forward to the day you will.
I do.
Of course you do.
So, the question is, what are you guys going to do? There's research to be done, or you could go after Dala's lead.
Do you think we could have,
even
a day
like met in character, out of character, you guys have to decide a way forward.
Well, we could do research for a while, or maybe hit up the local rumor mill to see if we can't find anything.
I don't think a
about-
local rumor mill isn't gonna drag up stories of artifacts that have been lost for thousands of years.
Hey, it's a thought. Hey, there just happens to be this other guy who happens to have this weird orb of some form.
Do you know what Dave dug up the other day?
Dave
One of them
dug up
ancient
the other day,
artifacts,
Phil.
wasn't it? Oh,
Some kind
rah.
of evil crown. It's got a it's covered. It rings your face in fire whenever you put it on.
Oh,
Pretty
that
odd one,
Dave
that.
finding his weird things. He's
Oh,
an
we
amateur
call him
nurse,
Dave
that is.
Firecrown now.
Dave Firecrown.
You get the point, though. Surely we can find something here.
Out of character, I want to wait for Orion to come back before we do anything. If that
I
makes sense.
don't know if we can.
Yeah, that's my worry.
Yeah, that.
So in character, Annika's very much kind of as a we know where this one is. It's best to go get it type deal.
Right, we got an airship. I'm sure we'll be fine.
I don't think we'd be taking the airship.
Yeah,
'cause
you
there's,
can't
like,
you can't take the airship to Zendrick. Basically, like the equator between Sharn and between Corvair and Zendrick is just all storms all the time. It's very dangerous.
Well, so perhaps we could just take perhaps with her generous offering, she could get us a teleportation circle partway there. We'll just walk the rest.
Didn't they say Zendrick is weird
Well,
for teleportation?
I think there was something about we can get the storm surge or something like that. Or
Yeah, Stormreach is the northern, basically the port of call for Zendrick. It's built on the ruins of another city, and is like the place that you would stop at before entering the rest of Zendrick.
But can we get a teleportation cycle there or not?
Let's see. Yes, but it would be quite expensive.
What, like 500 gold?
1,000.
Let's see.
Because,
I'm running into troubles because the economy between 3.5 and 5e has changed. Like in 3.5, you need a greater teleport ability of an Heir of Siberis to get from Corvair to Stormreach. But in 5e, like, if you know what teleportation circle runes, you can get there for like 10 gold of your own casting.
cheeky.
That's why I was like, shit.
For those travels, I'd say probably about 400 gold.
And what? It's not for each of us. We can all go at the same time, right? Since it's a teleportation cycle. Does that make sense?
That's a good question.
All right. Well, I mean, maybe since. Well, I was just thinking since we're her she's our benefactor, right? And
yeah, she might be able to pull in some favors for that.
Right.
Then I think if
alternatively, you could just take a ship over there.
Is that longer?
It does take a few days to get there. A Zilirindar sailing ship takes 11 days to get there.
That's quite a while.
But you guys love being on boats, remember?
No.
Don't you remember?
No.
Don't you remember those good days?
I love it.
I promise it will take less than 10 sessions to cross the sea this time.
How many sessions was it? Wasn't it like a session per?
You guys were on the sea for quite some time.
It was a lot of roleplay and a lot of aboliths and krakens, and it was glorious.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think we need to do whatever we can at post haste and try to get back here as quickly as possible.
Well, I think a good plan, at least in my mind, and tell me what you think of this, is, we get a teleportation cycle to Stormreach, saving so many days on traveling, as then we get some more information about this Thykean band of people, and try and understand, how to get the scepter from them, and then quickly make haste back to Colbert.
Yes.
That
idea. And of course, I would accompany you. Dalla says, I've actually been to Sharn or to Zendrick a number of times now. I do know a few of the locals. Oh man, Doifam has donated $25.
Oh no, not another plot point.
Plot point Twitch Whisper.
Thank you for your love you and hate you right now.
Thank you for your very generous donation, Doifam. I greatly appreciate it. And I'm sure whatever we work out with that Whisper, which we'll get to later, will be super interesting. But thank you a lot. Thank you a ton. I really appreciate it.
But no one's gonna buy all his complication points away, huh?
Nope.
No, everyone's just like, I want to screw you guys some more.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a storm on the seas.
We're not on the sea!
We're not even in the sea, but there's a storm at the sea.
There's a storm kraken!
God damn it.
Oh, what? Double kraken? Ah, that's the worst kind.
I love double krakens. All right, so yeah,
Right,
Dala has been to Zendrick a number of times, and she's the one with the lead. She might be able to offer you a bit of guide. It would take, even though if we transport there, it would be quite expensive to get a boat chartered around Sky. She actually takes the map of Zendrick off the wall, and let's see.
Can you show it to
So
us?
I'm gonna show you guys how I've got this set up. So I've got the world map of Eberron with links to all of the individual maps.
Oh.
So here's Zendrick. Oops. Let's share it proper.
Oh, we're in Covert. We gotta go to. Oh.
Yes.
Man. Well, we're not too terribly far away from Stormreach compared to where we probably need to go.
So a regular sailing boat takes a month to get to Stormreach from Sharn. A
No.
Lyrindar sailing ship takes 11 days. There is also Sorwood sailing ships, which take 16 days, but are considerably less expensive. An airship takes 3 days, but House Lyrindar only sends them over in case of emergencies. There's also wind galleons, which are quite expensive, but can get there in only 3 days.
What's a
How
wind
much is
galleon?
A wind galleon is okay. Airships are powered by elementals. Wind galleons are the equivalent, but still on the sea. They can carry way more. They can carry way more cargo and people than a normal ship can.
Well, how much would it cost to get us one of those?
A trip between Sharn and Zendrick is 432 GP
One way?
one way. Yeah.
I mean, we might as well get teleportation circle for that, to be honest.
Right, yeah.
where's Stormreach? Sorry.
If you look on the Zendrick map, it's at the very, very, very tip
Very
top.
top.
I see. I thought Stormreach was on this end. That's why I was like, wait, on the north? Like what?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah,
So
makes sense
as you
then.
can see, Zendrick is quite large. Anyone who tries to travel has a chance of just getting lost.
I mean,
Hmm.
Getting someone to go through the Phoenix Basin and deal with all of the. Dala explains that there's krakens and sahugans of all sorts around in the waters around Zendrick, even between here in Stormreach, the seas are quite active.
So what's wrong with just walking from Stormreach to like Throne Gate and all these stuff? Right
It's
there?
quite far, but it is also the path that most have to take.
So, and of course, and we can't fly here because of
You cannot
reasons?
fly there.
because
It's actually also dangerous to fly over Zendrick.
Dragons.
No, you can get lost.
How can you get lost while in the sky?
Magic. It's this whole entire continent is cursed.
This is horrifying.
Well, can we?
Come, you guys. Look at this face. Toussaint says, like smushing Dala's cheeks. She is so keen to go and see this thing.
She like slaps your hand away. Oh, please don't. I mean,
magic fingers.
yeah. She looks away and she's blushing furiously.
So I was going to suggest, well, why don't we just take a boat around the Skyfall Peninsula? But then I saw the marsh of desolation. Like, maybe we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
She points at Menektarun in the west side.
The big desert.
The big desert. Somewhere in here, a Thrycreen with a magic scepter is said to be getting together declared himself a king.
It disconcerts me that it goes from desert pretty much straight into snow.
There's these mountains are extremely tall.
Fair.
And I mean, tundra is technically a desert.
Shut up.
That's true. I mean, the way you say that somewhere in this desert, this Menektarun seems like a big place.
It is
to
a big
find one
place.
more Thrycreen.
It's dude. Look, The scale is right there. It's
Oh my
like
fucking god!
it's 1,200 miles across.
How
So-
can we
That
look
is
once
further
more
than the
like-
Proclaimers would walk.
But
And I would walk by fuck this shit.
so yeah, from like if you look, let's see if I can get. I'll have to use a square. So this is a 1,000-mile square, which will be my measuring tool. 1,000 miles down to get that way,
Fuck!
and another 1,000 miles to get to Menectaroon. Hope you guys like traveling.
Look,
mean,
we've been doing a
If
fucking
you
cityscape adventure.
if you thought the
Hold on.
Wildlands were bad,
Oh, God.
Zendrick is the actual Badlands.
So how do we get to Melik? There's got to be a quick way to get to Melikah. Is this not civilized land at all?
No.
Oh.
So yeah, she explains. Zendrick is populated by all manner of creatures. Many of the jungles are inhabited by the Drow, the Dark Elves, as it were. The Obsidian City is sort of a gateway to the rest of Zendrick. After you get past what we would call civilized land, they're quite. They keep to themselves.
Oh, check
most
out
of the
the
time.
Ebb and Flame here, down
Cool.
way at the bottom there.
We will keep to ourselves as well when we're there, and then hopefully we'll have no issues with them.
Well, are the Drow friendly enough that we could talk to them?
Some of
I
them,
think, you know-
perhaps.
Perhaps we can get a guide there at Obsidian City. Why is this particular city called Last Chance? Seriously, this place looks fucking horrible.
Yeah, it's like the last inn before Zendrick proper. Yeah, she
sounds
explains
like
it's the last stop before you leave civilization behind.
Yeah, this place just looks horrible. The fucking marsh of desolation, the Hydra, the fuck this place.
Yeah,
The Dread Lake.
and in order to get to Melikot and the rest of Menectaroon, you would have to go around the Titan's Teeth, cross through the cross through the pass between the Sun Pillars and the Fangs of Argarok.
Don't forget the Valley of Shadows. Oh god, this place looks horrible. Can we not go here? I'm gonna shut up now.
My friends, I see adventure, I see exotic peoples, I see riches to be found. What's not to like?
I mean, personally, I see an alternative where the dead rise and everyone ends up screwed. So
Also this.
So I think we don't have a choice, really, to be frank.
Oh, Zendrick is fine. It just takes some time. It can actually be quite a bit faster to travel through than you think because of the curse.
What?
Of course, the curse.
There are people who have gone just outside of Stormreach and spent 3 weeks in the wilderness thinking it was only a day, but there are also people who have traveled for what they think is only a week and gotten halfway across the continent. It's a toss of the die, really.
Zendrick, what a place.
I have told you I am good with dice.
So,
it's a shame Evan here isn't. I'm sure he scowls.
So-
So yeah, teleport to Stormreach and then figure it from there. Yeah.
Well, why don't we take- yes, we could try. Perhaps we'll find someone brave enough to take us to the Phoenix Basin. I do not like this idea.
I'd say go by land.
Land seems better, to be frank. Which one would be faster, Rick?
Going across the Phoenix Basin would be much faster, but
Krakens.
they would both be quite dangerous.
Why has someone inverted Italy and put it next to the Caparian Island?
That poor Boots. Oh, that poor Boots.
It's
I
winding
can't
up
get-
for the kick, and Sicily's like, no.
Oh, please.
Oh,
I mean, I think we should go to the Phoenix Basin, to be frank. I mean, it's faster. It's as dangerous as going through land. And No,
What are
we
you?
can
Are you
only get
afraid that you're gonna die of old age before we get there? I've been all across Zendrick, and I'm only 27.
Look
All
at
right.
me. And he points to his white hair. I could die any day.
I mean, you could have died any day like 20 years ago as well, but you haven't yet.
I mean, fortunate for me, I have not died yet.
If
But-
anyone's going to die, let's face it, it's going to be Toussaint.
Oh yes, it's definitely going to be Toussaint.
Sorry, Toussaint.
I will die like I lived.
Screwing someone.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Now,
I'm sure
to
there's
be
a
clear,
black
these-
beauty willing to do this.
To be clear, these Thrycreen, they are insects, yes?
Yes, they are. They are insectoid people.
All right.
Probably into some weird shit.
Oh God.
God, Jesus.
Toussaint does Zendrick, coming to Cinemax this summer.
Oh, man.
So the plan, let's just recap, maybe. We get teleportation circle to Stormreach. We go find something crazy enough to go to the Phoenix Basin.
No,
We arrive at we walk.
I say avoid the Phoenix Basin.
So we're
say-
talking krakens and monsters, and not all of us are exactly adept in water.
Okay, so we go by land then.
I
And
can't
then-
wait for
where's-
Orion to learn what you're getting him into.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be so pissed.
I really
you would
hope-
have to do this eventually anyway.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, yeah, that's my point, is that we need all those artifacts. We can get them in any
This
order.
is what
but
happens when I say we're running a 1 through 20 campaign. You're going everywhere.
We're going everywhere. So, okay, we go to Stormreach, we go through the land through this jungle, and then we somehow, maybe luckily, hope we get to Menectrine before we die of old age, and then we have to look for a roving band of insect people.
I mean, he's declared himself a king or something, so he's probably got a fair bit of influence. I figure we just walk out and he'll find us.
I hope so, but I'm worried that when he does find us, he won't be quite happy, but at least we find him. That is the main thing. So, does that sound good to all of you?
That sounds like the only plan that we have.
And we have one last hurrah at last chance before we go.
Oh, what do you mean by ha?
Drink, celebration.
He means
Right.
hurrah.
We make this, yes. We make sure we have lived before we go to die.
Of course. I feel like you've lived every day of your life, Toussaint. I wouldn't be worried for you.
As
Why
opposed
is-
to you, who spent half of them dead.
Oh,
I mean, to be frank, I worked in the bakery
Hi,
for
Frank.
15 years.
hi Frank.
I was going to do it.
Well, I did it
Stop!
first.
Just stop.
So I'm going to say a wise man once said, "Live each day like it's the last." Perhaps he has some wisdom there.
I mean, that man never went to Zendrick, apparently.
Perhaps
Also,
the
that man never
was
had,
friendly.
like, laundry and shit.
Yes, all chores, all things he had to do. Or a bakery had to open at 6 o'clock in the morning every day for all 15 years of his life. you know.
This definitely does sound like Toussaint.
Yes, to some. Still,
So by the looks of it, between Zendrick or Stormreach and Melicott is about 2,000 miles. Give her
casual.
probably more in the range of like 1,800. Through jungle, across mountains, through marshes, and all manner of
Yes,
terrible
we're
things.
marching one by one. Hurrah!
So we
hurrah.
need horses, possibly.
Yeah, they're good in jungles.
I mean, they are better than nothing.
Most travel is done by foot, actually.
2,000 miles on foot? Do you know how long that will take us?
Oh, remember
Months.
the
A year.
curse. We could do this in what could only be a day.
We could do it in a day, or we could do it in 10 years. You know,
It's not going
This
to
is
take
a
a day.
This is a role.
Look,
of
I'm trying to
divide and
motivate him into
advantage.
doing this. Stop this.
Is anyone else catching that Aldrin does not want to go on this journey yet? What are you waiting for? Is there a woman coming to meet you? Are you hoping these letters come in because there was money in them?
No, no. I just, I mean, 2,000 miles, that is a lot to walk. I mean, I guess you have to do it, but 2,000 miles. Do you know how long that would take us? By
We
then, the
can't.
world would have ended 3 times over.
Once we get to the Hydra, we can actually take a boat down the rest of it and speed that up quite a bit.
I was going to suggest that actually, but
I mean, look at it this way.
We could
You've
probably
walked-
charter a ferry from Stormreach down the Hydra.
That would be preferable. That will cover a great distance.
but I'm worried about the whole Marsh of Desolation bit. You know,
That's not on the river, right?
It's called that because, well, it's dead. It's a desolate, barren landscape. Many trees that have died, many bogs. Some quite a bit of giant ruins there, though. It was not always such a desolate place.
It's fine. If it's called desolation, that means there's nothing there.
That is true.
well, so we go over the Skyfall Peninsula, down to the Marsh of Desolation, through the Hydra to Thartgun Dock, and then we walk the rest of the way to Mel Aqua.
Well, you have to cross the mountains from there.
The mountains.
That's,
Mountains are fine.
That's you say that's a few hundred miles of mountain there.
Mountains are fine.
That's like 300-mile mountains.
That's fine.
Anyone feel like going to Targon today?
But you'd have to cross those anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
But perhaps
So-
we'll find a shortcut.
It's the fact that we can go down a river does make this better. And no, Toussaint, I am not waiting on a woman. I've given up that wait many, many years ago.
That's sad.
Aww.
Toussaint needs to give us
Even
some
Toussaint
pointers.
looks a little sad. Yeah.
Oh,
Right, we're spending too much time considering the options. We haven't even got there yet. There's plenty to figure out. Let's just get our plans in.
I will. Dolores says, I will. Well, I'll call in some favors. I believe I know someone in House Orion who could get us a teleportation circle done for a steal at cost, hopefully.
Thank you, Dolores. I mean, without any of you, we wouldn't even be in this position. We wouldn't be able to, help people in this such way.
While you are in Zendrick, I will be sure to have many of my employees doing research into these artifacts to make sure that we can find their locations. I'll be sure to call in that favor with the head of the Korenborg Library.
I believe you also said something about sending stones so we can keep in touch.
Yes, I will give it to you before you leave. There was also a there is a treasure hunter down in Zendrick, Anna Marie Stone, who may be on the lookout for the scepter as well, or anything really. I'll get you a description of her and well, a letter of writ, just in case you run into anyone else that might know me.
Of course. And I give a glance to Toussaint. Sure, any of that won't be a problem.
Right.
So, if you wish to do what you will with the rest of the day, have a little last hurrah, as Toussaint here said. If you'll meet me at, I forget the place in Sharn, it's a place...
To think.
It's a place that you go to when you want to get
It's-
teleported.
Happy
It's-
Fred's Teleportarium. Discount prices on all your teleportation needs.
No, it's probably...
Teleportarium is my new favorite word.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Terminus. It's where the lightning rail station ends. You meet me at the lightning rail station tomorrow around noon, and we will get you on your way. Dala, you. Well, it's better. You're the one who was worried about time.
I mean, I just assumed nothing. Sorry. Yes, tomorrow. Sounds good.
Right, sort your shit out, pack it up, let's get going.
Yes, there's no time to waste. And
Dala, of course, meets you there. Dala, of course, will be accompanying you. Please keep her safe. She has been to Zendrick quite a few times. Yep. But I don't take her for much of a fighter.
protect
I mean,
money.
last time we looked after someone, he turned out to be a Rakshasa, but on the plus side, he was fine for that entire time.
Don't worry, she is our ward. She will be fine.
Gwen speaks. Speaks up.
Oh,
Don't-
you've been quiet.
Don't worry about that. She reaches into her pocket and pulls out like this small, like it's like a monocle on a stick, but the monocle is in fact a clear, many-faceted gem.
Ooh.
I made sure that none of you were demons in disguise before we even walked in here.
Wonderful. I mean, demons in disguise. You'd be careful around Toussaint.
Demons in Disguise is my Transformers Bible crossover fanfiction.
I was going to say it's my There Might Be Giants cover band.
No, I like mine better.
I like the fan fiction angle.
Yeah,
That was pretty good.
Jesus fighting Optimus, fighting Megatron.
Oh no, Megatron! You're so strong
I-
and muscly.
I forgave
like
all
you
your
need to-
sins, but I can't forgive your bod.
You're bored.
Please stop this!
Don't nail
Okay,
me like
we're
this.
getting a little too heretical here.
Okay,
Oh,
I need to
heretical where I
approach
live.
Attica for a thing. Oh God.
Before that, though, no, I got this, right? It's...
Oh, God.
Shut up. I can work this out. Okay. So he goes up and says, don't worry about the Garden of Eden and that whole tree of knowledge, because the snake is actually gone at the moment. He's fuck it.
Yeah, I
thought
don't.
you were gonna be like, I thought you'd be like, the real original sin is in my pants, something like that.
Anyway,
No, it's never mind. It's it'd be too convoluted.
so the Lady Dolorith thanks Dala and bids her farewell. If you have any more questions that should not be heard outside of this room, then, well, ask them. And Dala, burn all of those translations.
Oh, can I have one?
I suppose if I'm trusting you to go find these artifacts, then yes. She hands you... Add a 1 translation of the 13th moon to your inventory.
Gotcha.
Okay. Not that I can think of, but I'm sure Creep would like one as well.
I think having
Yeah.
one on our party is probably bad enough.
Yes.
Okay.
That also reminds me, I need to give. Okay, I threw the goggles of night into the party sheet for you to take back.
She
don't
already
fucking need 'em.
She already has dark vision and eyes of the eagle.
Well, I don't need them. If someone needs them,
I'll take it.
Just put them on Creep. Or Aldrin, I guess. I guess Aldrin wants
Yeah.
them.
I don't care who takes them. Let's just say I have a new gift in my eyes. That sounded way weirder
It's
than I
got
intended
special
it to.
eyes.
I want to open your eyes.
Turn around, bright eyes. Okay.
No.
Every now and then, Tranquility does fall apart, and he often needs Annika tonight to put him back together.
This game is falling apart.
You
So let's.
If you don't get inspiration, I think you deserve that. Oh my God.
We learned it from you, Rick.
Total
That's-
Eclipse of the
that's fair.
Heart by the 13th moon.
Speaking of total eclipse, Hope you guys are ready for the eclipse. Oh, yeah.
Monday.
Monday.
Is there an
Wait.
eclipse?
Wait,
Yes.
All right, Doy fam, I gotcha. I'll work that in, man.
No, don't give us that.
Unless it's good, in which case, give us that.
Yeah, I mean, give us all the. We need your love.
Joy
Really.
fam, whatever it is, I'm going to seduce it.
It is another burly half-orc woman.
Of course.
Don't worry, guys. I got this.
I'll call her Brienne of Tarth.
All right, so what are you guys doing? We're falling apart here.
Yeah,
We are.
So you
Once
guys,
upon a time, we were falling in love.
do you have any more questions for Lady Dolorith?
No.
Mm,
Lady, is there any people you know in Stormreach who could, help us, provide assistance or anything?
Dala speaks up. Yes, I have many connections in Stormreach, and I'm actually going to talk to the head of the university to see if I can't get any assistance to come with us. Maybe I'll get a little bit of funding to pay for our boat trip there. We'll see. Stormreach is a pretty big place.
I can only imagine.
Do House Kenneth have any representatives there?
All of the representatives, all of the Dragonmarked houses have some presence in Stormreach. Not as much as in Sharn or any city on Corvair. It might be best to say that they're more represented by the Blackwheel Company than anything else.
I get the feelings that I'm going to need a boatload of ammunition, and I just wonder if I should buy here or.
That's something I wanted to answer.
May be better to buy ammunition here before we take off.
This is fair. I appreciate it.
I am curious, so Toussaint,
Oh,
you like where'd you get them fancy shooters you ended up with?
Oh, I buy it from a merchant.
What, just like on the street?
Ah, yes. He has it. He has no idea what it is worth.
Yeah. Thought they had to be like registered and shit.
Oh, I registered. I mean, I talk a good talk. I tell the man. I pay the fee. I pay the man. I do what I need to do.
Do what you need to do.
Right.
So,
Okay.
any other questions for Lady Dolorith and etc.?
I think that is all, to be frank.
Yep, think we're good.
Aside from that, I hope you have a wonderful day, Lady Dolores. I mean, thank you very much for your help.
Well,
What will you be doing now that you've finished with this?
I will. We're far from finished. I'm going to get in contact with the person I know in House Orion so that we can meet tomorrow morning. After that, I'll be getting some of my other compatriots to do some research into those artifacts. I have much more business to work in Corvair. This is just one aspect of how we can fight against the ever-pressing presence of evil.
Yes.
That sounded quite presumptuous, but I try to do what I can with my resources.
Do you have a quick moment I can talk to you in private, of course?
Gwen just like...
I give Gwen a smile. I show my hands, there's nothing in them. Gwen can come too.
She nods at that, and excuse me, gentlemen and lady. Have a good day, Dala. And
thank you for your hospitality, Dala.
Oh, nothing. No problem. Of course, we're going to be spending a lot of time together in Zendrick.
Yes, we are.
She blushes as she puts her map back up on the wall.
Oh, I know how this is
going.
going.
Can we get one of them?
There are plenty of maps in. You'll be able to find a map in Stormreach, or at least the probably not as detailed, but yeah. So she. Anyway, yeah. Lady Dwarf exits with Aldrin and Gwen and goes to talk in a talk nearby.
So, now that our earshot, this is a weird request and a small one, and I'm sure it is a waste of your resources, but there's this lass who runs a chapel, Blackstone Chapel, down in Blackstone Church, sorry, down in the Fallen. Goes by the name Fela. See, the thing is that she has a contact with people like Corolla and was there when we were attacked by kobolds. The worry is that now that the Raksasha knows our face is proper, got that right. Our face is proper, who we've talked to and knows so much about us that she will, be in danger somehow. And I ask of you not to, dedicate all your resources or whatever, but just to have someone keep an eye on her, if that is okay.
I could ask. I have a few friends in the Watch who might be able to send a few people down there, but you have to realize just how ignored by the city the Fallen is. If this Fela has lived down there and runs the church down there, then she's probably able to defend herself just fine.
Against the Raksasha, I doubt.
Would Rakshasa? I really doubt that. I really doubt that that will have any. I doubt that they would go after her.
I also doubt. It's just I doubt my doubt, if you know what I mean. I'm just worried. But as ever, your judgment is sound.
Well, I really must be going. I have to talk to my friend in House Orion and get everything situated. I'm sure you'll understand. I'm glad that she grabs your hands and puts them between yours, and you feel again this overwhelming strength, as if she's holding back. I'm so glad to have the lot of you on my side in all of this, on the side of all of Corvair and beyond.
Aldrin will kind of say, I mean, I can say the same. Having you to, enable us to do all these things is wonderful. And my lady, and he'll like take a hand and give it like a kiss on the back or whatever and say, it's been a pleasure. And he'll try to do the same to Gwen, but we'll see how that goes.
She doesn't even raise her hands up toward you. Like no.
No.
She's not having any of it.
That's for the best, really.
So with that, Lady Dwarf and Gwen depart. It has stopped raining outside. It's still soaking wet. What do a lot of you do? You guys have all day and then tomorrow morning.
Tranquility will die on screen.
Yeah. Rest in peace. Oh dear.
We'll look at the other sets. So should we meet at the Beholder again? I have some business I wish to attend to.
That brings back memories. How about we treat ourselves though? We're going to be in the company of a fine city for a short while. Instead of the Eye Beholder, why not visit the upper district,
Do you have a place in mind?
Well, that place we went to before was quite nice. Or maybe we can tour around, visit some sites. It's been so long since I visited Shan. It is just an offer. It's sort of something we can all do together, It's been so long since we've seen each other.
What I heard was Aldrin is buying.
Yeah.
I have very little money, but what little money I can and can spend on you all is well worth it.
Well,
This-
if we find a location, we should go there first so that I might
Die.
Die
leave
with
and
Oh,
leave and come back. I have business to do. Fuck.
yeah, Dimmy is just dying.
Yeah. Rip.
F.
Yep.
Yeah.
Press F to pay respects.
I am all for this. I do need to stop and get ammunition before we go. But aside from this, I believe I am burned out from my month.
I have a question for Rick.
That's me.
Would ammunition of a regular sort be something that I could craft?
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. I assume there's going to be like expense and time like for that. I just wanted to know if it was like something that could just be done.
Well, I mean, there's like the normal downtime rules. You spend a day, you can craft what, 25, 50? Whatever,
Cool.
whatever's
Sweet.
what is in the downtime rules? Where are
Cool.
they? Downtime. Crafting.
Crafting.
Crafting an item. It's a character complete multiple items in. You can do 10 gold a day.
Right.
Yeah. 50 a work
Okay.
week. Yeah.
So on that subject, then Annika will make a little sort of cough and go. I mean, if you were to sort of be running low when we get there, rather than worrying too much about stocking it on so much you can't carry, if we had the materials available, I could probably see to keeping you topped up.
This is wonderful. Why don't I stock up now, and should the need arise, we will make sure you have material as well.
Yeah.
Character, this is an inappropriate conversation without context. Not involved.
I mean, you're into some weird shit, apparently.
I mean,
I can't say anything.
I'm a 45-year-old baker. I mean, come on now.
So, I think we're gonna try to wrap it up a bit short here. Just because I finally know where you're going, so I know what to do prep for.
You know where we're going, really? Rick? We're gonna swing last minute.
Yeah,
And we
I
all
got
level
like
up, right?
I got at least 2 books that I need to read for so
Man, if you had like said, "Oh, let's get together last week to do this," you could add 2 weeks of prep.
I mean, you say that, but
I had 2 weeks of prep.
he's gonna have like 2 days of actual prep anyway.
Yeah. So, you leave Dala and Morgrave University, go and what? You're gonna go up to what was it? Sabir's? Sabir's restaurant up at the
Yeah,
Platinum Towers.
I hope we can get in without a reservation. Otherwise, this is all gonna shit.
Roll a persuasion check.
Okay.
Roll that persuasionino.
I'll if I'm with Toussaint, I'll ask him to help me with the talking.
I mean, yeah, Toussaint would probably.
All right, roll a persuasion check with advantage.
Okay.
Terrible munchkin you.
I'm not a munchkin. Okay.
I mean, if anything, Annika's the munchkin.
Exactly. Just have fun.
If you slip him like 5 gold, he'll get you a table.
I'll you know what? I'll slip him 6 gold because I care.
All right, you
The
get a
fuck are you
table.
so generous.
You get it. Yeah, he said he's broke. He's actually not. He's actually got a bunch of money.
I said I was broke too.
So yeah, you get a nice, pleasant meal and some beers. It's going to cost like 2 gold per person.
Oh, wow, that's so easy. Yeah, I thought it'd be like 10, 20
Dude,
gold per
two
person.
2 gold, man, per person. So another
Yeah,
12
that's-
gold. Probably rounded up to 20
Plus.
Yeah, you
Well,
got
when you can, when you
total.
consider like a gold is somewhere in the ballpark of like what $50 or something. And
You
like,
can well, a gold is you can sustain yourself with food and shelter for a day. So like,
Yeah. Like
yeah,
it's like 2 quid, right? Oh
No.
no, that's like 2 quid.
like more like 20 or 50. 50's pushing it, but yeah, it's enough to get a modest life for a day. Have three meals and a place to sleep, and even a little bit of entertainment. 2 is you can go to the movies on weekends and pay for cable.
Go pay for cable.
who has the money for that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I got my parents to switch to Netflix and Hulu and all that.
see, that's what I thought too. Like you could just do all this shit. Anyway, I'm
A
Yeah.
message for you guys on the internet. Try the internet.
Yeah. Hello, internet goers. Have you heard of the internet?
The Netflix, the Hulu.
okay, but so we're sitting, dining, having a good meal and all that good
Yeah,
shit.
you have a great meal that night. Delicious,
Everyone looks as weird.
delicious seafood. Hopefully, Toussaint won't order the oysters this time.
Well, there's nobody to impress this time.
Yeah,
Uh,
they weren't impressed last time.
You say that.
in Toussaint's mind, they were.
But
They absolutely will.
Have some fine wine, some delicious food. Does anyone propose a toast?
No,
Yeah, toast's
No.
overrated. Yeah.
Yeah,
To
I'm
okay.
gonna be
our
like-
impending doom.
to the future.
These are such pessimists. God.
Hey,
To this
hey, I-
wonderful meal.
Have I ever let you guys die? Yes.
Yes. So
I
many
was gonna
times.
say, I don't know if like Tranquility or Toussaint have really survived any encounter we've had so far.
Well, you're level
And
5
do-
now. You'll be fine.
And do this pain and suffering. Holy Lord.
After that, you return to your inn rooms, which you've been keeping warm. Have a good night's sleep, and then in the morning, take off to go meet Lady Dolores.
yeah,
Can I get
there's
some supplies in the evening before? we
Yes,
sleep?
you can go shopping as you wish.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that after the session ends, so I have time.
yeah.
So, did you have anything to say, Demi?
I just wanted to go do a thing. Like I was going to go back to the fall and let my friend know that I'm going to be leaving for a while. I don't know when I'll return.
When you go down there, he is nowhere to be found.
All right, well, I'll leave him a note then, letting him know that
Okay.
I shall be gone for a while.
His stuff is gone too.
Wow.
What the shit?
If you're going down to the Fallen, Alden will ask you to check on Fela. See him.
I don't. Does Tranquility even tell the party that he does?
Yeah, does he tell him?
Or
Does he
does he
tell him?
just
I
wander off?
would say that I do have business I need to do in the Fallen. I probably won't say specifically what I'm doing.
Oh yeah, then I'll definitely ask you. Hey, check out good old Potter about me.
Strange. All right, so I'll do that.
Okay. Yeah, you go to the Fallen and find that your friend Agarin is no longer there. All of his stuff is gone. His bedroll's packed up. His all of his supplies are either gone or have been given away to somebody. Asking around, no one saw him leave. Well, actually, no, they saw him. They saw him going with a pack on his back, saying he had some business to attend to, but they're not sure where he went.
Oh, he hit the road.
Yeah, he hit
He
the road.
left you like some jilted lover.
The blind hobo has left you alone.
He's my best friend. This sucks so much. All right, well, that sucks. I'll check on Fela for him then. And
Yeah. Fela's doing well with all the money you guys have given her.
A lot of money.
she's hired some locals to work on the church, especially to fix that wall that was being held up by some timber. she's getting that fixed. So yeah, there's that.
I'm hoping with the trade that's come in because of my actions there that perhaps everything will be going fine.
Yeah,
I think
not much has happened yet, but soon.
In time.
So, anything else anyone else wants to do?
Aside from like going to the like shitty workshop that she rents out and clearing it out of stuff into that pouch of hauling, Annika wants to go shopping. I don't know what for yet, but I know I need some stuff, and I didn't realize I had money, so I'll write a list of that before we get to next time.
I didn't realize that you
Alright,
had
guys.
a ton of money. Well,
Yeah.
It is
So,
session
I'm
end,
not
dude.
yeah, I'm not sure what you saw, but the party's going to Zendrick. Like
Didn't see that part.
next session. Well, they
I'm
can
assuming
talk.
Zendrick is located in one of the artifacts or one of the items that
yes.
can be used in the ritual.
Yes. Well, they can go over it after the thing.
I feel like we're like that meme where it's like, get in, loser, we're going to Zendrick, you know?
Yeah.
Also, I'm so sorry I left. It was an emergency. We had no idea where the dog was, and considering he's a pit bull puppy, if he got in the front yard, that could be huge deal.
Yeah.
Is he fine? Is Doggo fine now?
Yeah, apparently, the entire time we were searching for him, he was hiding underneath my bed.
Of course. Of course.
Dude, that happened to me when I was like 8. When we first got my cat, when he was just a kitten, we thought that he had gotten out and had like run away, and we looked all over for hours, and I was fucking bawling. He was in a closet the whole time.
That's the worst for that. Mine one ended up.
Oh,
Poop.
I love
Anyway,
the
we
little,
should probably end this.
I love the little bastard. So that's gonna be wrapped up for here today. I want to thank everyone who stopped in for the stream. Thanks everyone who watched the VOD. Big shout out to Stone and Doy fam for their very generous donations.
Don't screw us over, guys.
I will be working with them on their plot points, and where they show up, they will get a shout out then too. We play every Wednesday at 4 Mountain Time, 6 Eastern. If you want to join us next week on twitch.tv/thekittenhugs. Hope you do. See ya.
We love you. Peace out.
Yeah.
Game over.